Okay, students, we're going to learn how to do the printmaking portion. The first thing you want to do is make sure your pins are in your, hooking up your backer board from your screen. Next, you want to open your ink, and there's usually a, I don't know what you call it, like piece of paper over it. And what I suggest you do is throw this out right away. I put it on a piece of paper like this before I throw it out, and then I throw it in the trash. All right, so to get started, you're going to want your squeegee, your ink, your black ink, these little scraps of black mounting board, and some pencils, your prepared Bristol paper, and then you're also going to have a couple sheets of just plain printer paper. Before you print on your Bristol paper, you want to give this a little try first. You're going to do a little sample just to make sure you got the hang of it before you waste any of your paper. So it's pretty simple. I also have some paper here because you're going to see this squeegee gets really dirty, full of ink, and you don't want to place it on a counter, and it's just going to be a big mess. It's easier to throw these pieces of paper away. So all I'm going to do is take a little ink. You don't need a lot. Make sure you have covered your screen like in the step-by-step guide, and I'm going to put a small amount of ink on the end with my disposable spoons. And then all you're going to do is pull the ink across the screen, and this is what those little scraps are for, because there's a lot of ink that kind of builds up on the squeegee. And you just go over it a couple times, and again, the whole idea is to push the ink through the open areas of the screen that does not have the stencil on it. So I'm going to pull this up. This is what my kicker is for, so I can keep this open. And I can see on this paper, it's a little wrinkly, so it's not going to turn out as nice as on the Bristol, but it gives you an idea that you've got full coverage here. So I feel confident I can go right to my Bristol paper. I'm just going to put this aside to dry. You don't have to keep it. But once I have my Bristol paper taped down, don't tape over your registration marks because you're not going to be able to align it to your screen. So then I'm going to put another small amount of ink on my screen. And then I'm going to pull it back and forth. I'm putting a little pressure on it. I'm not bending the squeegee, but I'm putting a little pressure so I feel like there's enough ink. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So next, you probably can't see this because I've got the screen, the kick on, but I'm gonna take this, I don't know if you can see it, and I'm gonna put it aside. I'll take the tape, and I'm gonna put it somewhere to dry, okay? So one thing that you should know is that, I'm going to just put it up here. You really, once you start printing, don't walk away from this. You need to make sure that you're done like within 30 minutes because you want to get your screen cleaned as soon as possible. So I'm just putting my next Bristol paper. If you don't clean your screen within 30 minutes, what happens is the ink dries, and then you won't be able to use your screen again. You'll have to order another screen. And I know none of you really want to do that. So I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. Put my kicker on. And I kind of pre-taped the Bristol paper, so kind of helps with the production of these 6 prints. You can pull some of this off. You'll see really quite a bit gathers. You don't want to put too much ink on this screen. You don't want a big pool of ink because it's, first of all, not needed. Second of all, it's just going to be harder to clean. So, you know, and sometimes I've seen students put too much ink on and it sort of blobs up their design. Okay, so you just keep going. Usually takes maybe 15-20 minutes once you start printing, once you get everything set up. Just 2 more and we're done. You'll notice I put T for top on my Bristol paper just to make it easier when I'm in this process. You'll see T for top, that I don't accidentally turn it around. Believe it or not, it does make a difference. Now remember, I put a little glue on my stencil to keep these little pieces on while I'm printing, and it really does make a big difference. So far, I've got 1 left, and nothing has fallen off my screen. Sometimes that happens. So just remember to do that Elmer's glue process on your stencil. Okay, last one. Just make sure it's evenly distributed. That should do it. Okay, there you go. Make sure you wear an apron. You can see your hands do get dirty, but they will wash off. So the last thing you're going to do when you're all done, never put your screen down when there's ink on it without protecting it with something. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my pins and I'm going to wash my screen. So that will be the next part of this. What we're going to do is we're going to clean the screen. Make sure you have like a stainless steel sink or utility sink. You want the water to be warm, and then you're just basically going to take your hand the warmer the better. The ink will come cleaner. You can also use a mild detergent on this if you like. too warm.